It's 8 minutes past 9. We are going into open debate with Mahesh Jethmalani and Jaynarayan Vyas on the one side defending Modi tonight, and Pavan Verma, who is working with Nitish Kumar on one side, and joining him is Amee Yagnik of the Congress Party, Mukul Sinha, who is the Counsel for Victims for the 2002 riots, Vinod Mehta, Editorial Chairman of Outlook. I suspect he's anti-Modi on this, and Teesta Setalvad join us in 15 minutes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. First question to Amee Yagnik. Did Narendra Modi's 1,000-word blog silence Rahul Gandhi? Silence him to the extent where he's asked by a reporter in a press conference and he just avoids even a one-sentence reply. Amee?
Arnab?
Yes.
These blogs and tweets, yes. These blogs and tweets, we are on larger issues where we don't have to answer every blog and
what
tweet.
What larger issues?
Written.
This is the larger issue which the Congress Party... No, this is the larger issue. This is the larger issue which the Congress Party has been raising in every large and small context for the last decade. And today Narendra Modi writes a blog, a specific question is asked, why did Rahul Gandhi not say anything in response?
The issue... Of course, there is no necessity to reply to the blog. The blog is...
No necessity? No, what do you mean, no necessity? No, what do you mean? This is the only issue you raise.
After 12 years, somebody chooses to speak and validates one's conduct, which is absolutely different in the last 12 years. You are telling it to the people of the country. Rahul ji doesn't have to reply to the blog.
Mr. Vyas.
Because there will be
Mr.
a time
Vyas.
the matter will go further.
Response from Mr. Vyas.
On this.
Rahul Gandhi does not have to reply to the blog. Matter will go further. Your response before I ask my first opening question to Mahesh Jethmalani. Mr. Vyas, your response to Amee Yagnik.
Well, Arnab, all through they have laid a very violent and virulent vilification campaign, always trying to paint Mr. Modi in the blackest of the black color. And now that who gave him the clean chit? It is SIT under the supervision of the Supreme Court, Honorable Apex Court of this country. Their reports done under direct supervision of the Supreme Court.
No, Mr. Vyas. Mr. Vyas, I'm not getting a clean audio with you, so I'm going to come back.
Final order.
No, one second. Can I have my opening questions? By the way, Amee Yagnik, irrespective of what you say, I think many people did notice that Rahul Gandhi was totally silenced by the question. Now, Miss Amee Yagnik, you must realize that Rahul Gandhi is a political leader.
Because he was
Gujarat riots,
larger issues of the country.
What larger issues? You keep raising the Gujarat issue. You are basically...
You have seen the press conference.
No, you
have seen the press conference.
Yeah, I saw the press.
The blog is by a person who has been given an order by a magistrate's court, and he's speaking about his feelings and emotions. Well, everyone doesn't have to react on that blog or to the blog.
Well, I get Mahesh Jethmalani, and Mahesh Jethmalani, your counter to that. And also, why didn't he say, okay, I express remorse, I'm sorry. If my government could not do the right thing, I'm sorry. If we slipped up in the even if we slipped up in the people's judgment of the issue, I'm sorry, I express remorse. Mr. Jethmalani, you want to close the lid on the issue, you close it effectively once and for all by expressing remorse. Your hardcore Hindu lobby or hardcore Hindu vote bank will not move away from you. I'm sure. Is that your fear, or is that the BJP's fear? If you express remorse, that hardcore Hindu lobby moves away from you.
Arnab, I totally disagree with you respectfully, because let me tell you something. I think that the blog expresses not merely regret. It appears, it says that what the victims of the riot were subjected to inhumanity and mindless violence. It calls for a spirit of unity. It says no state, country or society can ever survive without social and religious harmony.
No, doesn't it sound, the Congress Party says, the Congress Party says this is sanctimonious righteousness. And some people have said, I get Pavan Verma, some people have said that Modi has cast himself as a victim in this blog. Pavan Verma?
Arnab, let me be very clear. 1 minute, Arnab, before you get Pavan Verma, let me just
some
say
quick
something.
introductory
Let me just
comments.
say something very quickly, Arnab. Yeah, just a quick introductory comment. Modi's blog is not meant for his political opponents because they are never going to be satisfied.
Of course it's meant at his political opponents. I disagree with you.
For the public at large.
Of course it is meant at his political opponents.
It's not meant for his political... I am sorry, it is not meant for his...
It is meant for his...
It is not meant for Amee Yagnik, and it is not meant for Arnab, because they will never be satisfied. They have a personal, visceral hatred for Modi, so it's not going to happen with them. They are irrelevant.
This is
People
not an
like
issue of
Pavan Verma
satisfaction.
and Amee
It is an
Yagnik
issue of justice for the victims.
have to be dealt with on the electoral battlefield. Otherwise, there are only spokespersons of their own party.
No, if it has to be dealt with on the electoral battlefield, then why a blog? If it has to be dealt with on the electoral battlefield, then why a blog? Why a blog?
Good question. Good question, Arnab, because for all these years, Modi was accused of keeping silent, and the reason why he kept silent was because he was under intense scrutiny by the SIT and the Magistrates Court at the behest of a Supreme Court. A dignified response was
Pavan
to keep
Verma.
silent until the court had finally...
Pavan Verma, this is a response to scrutiny. This is not a response to his critics. I find it absolutely strange, Mr. Jethmalani, that you should say that. Because there is such a detailed attack in the blog on his critics, where he says for so many years they incessantly kept up their attack, leaving no stone unturned in their overzealousness to hit at me for their narrow political ends. They maligned my state and my country. They heartlessly reopened the wounds we were trying to heal, delayed the justice we were fighting for, did not realize how much suffering they were already adding to a pained people. Mr. Jethmalani, it appears to me tonight that you have not read Narendra Modi's blog when you make that comment. You have obviously not read Mr. Modi's blog.
I am sorry, Arnab.
You would have, or you are skipping those parts.
I have read each and every word. I am not. I am saying it is not meant for his political opponents. It is meant for his critics. It is meant for his critics. It is not meant for his party political opponents like Mr. Verma and Mr. Amee Yagnik, because no matter whether he says it or he doesn't, it's a question of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't.
My question...
we do not care for the opinion of people like Pavan Verma and Amee Yagnik.
Whose opinions do you care for, Mr. Jethmalani? Pavan Verma? Yes. Grief.
The elected at large, the people of
Mr.
India,
Jethmalani
the
is
people...
becoming...
Okay, Pavan Verma.
Mr. Jethmalani is becoming unnecessarily agitated. I would like to give Mr. Modi the benefit of doubt. And I would like to do so, but I cannot do so because I cannot devalue my own intelligence. The people of India cannot be looked upon as pliable dummies to be... The pliable dummies to be taken in by a blog written 12 years is too late, too little, and far too transparently cynical.
Cynical?
And I want to say to you...
There you go. That is
absolutely
cynical. That is an expected response from Pavan Verma.
Can I take 5 seconds because I'm coming?
He is so predictable.
Can I just come in?
He is predictable. I am agitated because...
Arnab, I did not interrupt Mr. Jethmalani. Have the courtesy for a reasonable and...
Because my comments were not worthy of interruption. Your comments are worthy of interruption.
Don't become personal, Mr. Jethmalani. It does you no good. Please discuss the issue.
I'm not becoming personal. I'm dealing with your statements, not you personally.
Please discuss the issue. Please discuss the issue.
I'm discussing the issue. I have discussed the issue.
Allow him, sir. Allow him.
We have a statement made on a blog 12 years after the incident, where in the interim we have had repeated concrete instances of self-righteous belligerence where any question of anguish or remorse comes up. And the BJP, incidentally, has considered this to be right tack. Now Mr. Modi makes a blog and the BJP suddenly believes that one blog written 12 years later, when there was so much more time for reflection and reinterpretation of approaches and attitudes, so much time for spontaneous reaction to what happened, nothing happened. Now the BJP believes that this attempt will put a lid on the court cases, an appealable judgment by a lower court will be closed. On the eve of the elections, censitors on the voting...
No, what do you want him to do?
Changed.
What do you want? I asked you the question this afternoon. I asked you the question this afternoon. 1 second. Mr. Pavan Verma, I am now coming. Mr. Verma, 1 minute.
Yes,
my question is, you and others in the anti-Modi camp, let's go to Mukul Sinha. He's a firm and leading member of the anti-Modi camp.
But you asked me the question more.
No, but I want to ask everyone, there are 2 members, 3 members who have not fully come in. Let's open it up, okay? And I'm not provoking the Right Honourable Vinod Mehta by calling him part of the anti-Modi camp, though I'm extremely tempted to do so. I've enjoyed provoking Mr. Mehta, but I'll desist for a while.
It's not about
my question here is, are words such as grief not an expression of regret? Mr. Sinha, sadness, misery, pain, anguish, agony, phrases such as mindless violence,
every synonym has been used,
inhumanity, to describe the riots. I ask you, Mr. Sinha, what more are you looking for?
Now you have a problem with his English. Mr. Verma has a problem with his English now.
This is Modi's English. What, Mr. Sinha? Mr. Sinha's turn to respond.
Okay. Arnab, let me start by saying that if he had a dictionary in his front, he could have used as many more words he could have liked. I don't think so these words impress us at all. And let me also tell you, I don't belong to the anti-Modi camp. That's a wrong way of describing us. We definitely belong to the pro-victim camp. And the question that I pose, that does this blog anywhere bring justice to those victims? In fact, this blog appears to me like a coffin trying to cover up those 1,000 or so dead bodies. And everybody is now interested in seeing whether Modi gets the justice. The BJP, of course, in a case which is coming from a lowest judiciary of this court and is appealable, is all agog, as if they have won the final victory. But the real question is that have the victims got justice in Gujarat? Or are we all, including the media, bent upon giving justice to Modi?
Why you're targeting the media? What did the media write the blog? Did the media, Mr. Mukul Sinha, write the blog? Did the media issue the court verdict yesterday? If it has gone in favor of Mr. Modi, it's gone in favor of Mr. Modi.
The impression that we have gathered, and that's a public perception, that for the last few months or maybe a year, that every attempt is being made to paint his image bigger than his life. So therefore, this blog also comes almost trying to justify the 12 years of denial of justice to the victims. Today, the real question is, did the victims of the 2002 riots get any justice? Answer is no.
I think you should revisit that with respect, and I'll get Jaynarayan Vyas before I go to Vinod Mehta. No, let Jaynarayan Vyas take that one, Mahesh Jethmalani. You see, innumerable cases, innumerable instances, there have been convictions, and Mr. Mukul Sinha, with respect, you seem to be coming in from a deterministic point of view that unless there is a conviction of Narendra Modi, there is no justice to the victims. This seems to be, Mr. Sinha, your perspective. I'll get Jaynarayan Vyas to respond.
This particular... You see, you catch a few small flies here and there and convict them, and then claim that the entire killing of 1,000 or more people were done by those small flies. That I don't believe is the truth.
So this is not this is the court process.
Is that it was an
organized. This is a court process. This is not an individual. This is not an individual. This is not an individual.
Let's come to the court.
Okay, 2 responses, Mahesh Jethmalani and Jaynarayan Vyas. Mahesh Jethmalani goes first.
Let me complete that.
No, Mr. Jethmalani is responding to you. Mr. Jethmalani and then Jaynarayan Vyas. Yeah. Mr. Jethmalani and Jaynarayan Vyas.
Mr. Mukul Sinha's personal opinions do not count. This is too large an issue. It is an accusation which has been made over the years by NGOs and lawyers of Mr. Mukul Sinha's ilk. Their opinions are not relevant. The truth has to be decided by evidence with judicial application of mind. That has now been established. Mr. Mukul Sinha, if he is a lawyer,
so
what's the name, then he must respect the court verdict today.
Does Mr. Jethmalani seriously believe that the lowest judiciary is going to decide this case? And that is what BJP thinks would be the final
Yes,
victory?
I do.
I think
I hope you have as much respect for the lower judiciary as the higher judiciary.
Don't you realize
Do
that
not
there are
substitute
three more judiciary sitting,
do not substitute your
superior to this
vendetta
judiciary?
and your personal
And
opinion
there are
for that of the lower judiciary.
several
The
other
lower
cases
judiciary
pending before
is
this
much
man.
more unbiased than you are, Mr. Sinha. The lower judiciary is much more unbiased than you are.
Jethmalani, as much as you may shout, this case does
you
not
are an
bring
agent
a
of the
closure.
Congress party. You
However
are not a
much you all
representative
might
of the
write
victims.
blogs.
You are an agent of the Congress party.
One
I
second.
repeatedly said that both in the terrorist cases, and I challenge
Mr.
you
Jethmalani,
to
I
sue
can
me for
also
defamation.
name you in several other things.
You can. You're free to.
Jethmalani, I think stop being
But I
personal.
welcome a defamation suit
because
from you.
we know what exactly you are.
I think, Arnab, you should stop this personal attacks.
Well, the Congress comes out in the defense. Mr. Jaynarayan Vyas wanted to come in. Vinod Mehta, thank you for your patience. I'm just coming to you in a minute. Yes, Jaynarayan Vyas.
Arnab, I hope and pray that you will manage the house in such a manner that I'll have an uninterrupted
Yes, sir,
presentation.
I will.
You know what seems to be a thing in my friend, learned friend, Mr. Mukul Sinha seems to be proceeding on a premise that the lower court has no judicial mind and whatever is decided by the lower court and which is appealable in the higher courts is
Absolute
not a
contempt
kind
of
of
the
a
court.
justice done, and it's still Modi should be considered as guilty because there is an appellate court.
Yeah.
He is forgetting the preliminary principle of the jurisprudence that in the eyes of the law a person is innocent unless he is held guilty. So please don't make this argument often again. It is not valid as far as the jurisprudence is concerned, as far as the law is concerned. Coming to the second point, what is your intention? What is your premise? You will stop only when you feel that Mr. Modi is Christian guilty. I think these wishes are never going to be fulfilled. And third, let me tell you, Mr. Mukul Sinha, that you are saying why he is speaking after 12 years. For almost these years, you were every day trying to have a pot shot at him, and if you would have come out and said anything, you would have simply said that these are crocodile's tears. You go to SIT or you go to the appellate court and you say whatever you want to say there. This is not the way to air your grievances. So you are like that absolutely, it is a seesaw affair where you go this way, you cut it, you come back, you are cutting it. You don't have the stance, you don't have the stand, you don't have the argument. The fact of life is that a person has suffered a virulent vilification campaign for 12 years and he has every right to speak, and Mr. Modi has spoken. What is the problem with you? Why don't you uphold his personal right? Why don't you uphold his personal freedom? As an individual, as a citizen of this country, even he has this right and this right has to be respected. So what is the problem with you?
Well, I think
don't understand, Mr.
I come back to that point.
Absolutely baseless.
I do not have any problem with him. The people of Gujarat and the people of India believe he is guilty.
Then why are you unnecessarily making points? Why are you bringing in issues which are not relevant? These are absolutely irrelevant issues.
Can we go back to the politics and not stray into a legal debate?
Your vision is tainted. You are suffering from Modi phobia, and you have only one objective in mind, like Gerard Ford, that any color is good so far, so it is black. Justice will only be done if Modi is held guilty. Is this the premise on which a lawyer can
Mr. Mehta,
which a legal case can be taken?
Mr. Mehta, are you part of the anti-Modi brigade? And if you are, then is an apology the one-point agenda of the anti-Modi brigade?
Arnab, I can't be part of the anti-Modi brigade because in your studio I announced that Mr. Modi would be the next Prime Minister of India. So, I mean, the question is that this is the first time that Mr. Modi has directly addressed the question of 2002 riots.
Yeah.
He's done it in a blog, but this is the first time he's done it. Now, I haven't read the full blog, but the little excerpts I have read, this is mostly about Mr. Modi's private suffering.
What?
The blog is about how Mr. Modi privately suffered, how much anguish he had, how much he had sleepless nights, etc., etc. Now, I think he said absolutely nothing about the people who didn't suffer privately.
That's not true. That's not true.
Is completely
That's not true, Mr. Mehta.
It is part of self. Arnab, please let me finish. Please let me finish. Let me finish, Arnab. Please let me finish.
Already made a mention
It
about
is part of self-vindication to say that I was one other point, Arnab, one other point, small point. Even if Mr. Modi has been legally cleared, even if all the courts of India have said that Mr. Modi had no direct role in the riots, he was at least the chief minister of the state. The riots happened on his watch. The least I expect from him is to take constructive responsibility for the riots and express regret and apologize to the people and to say that I was the chief minister and it happened during my time and I am extremely
But Mr. Mehta,
before you
how many chief ministers have done it, Mr. Mehta, in your long and distinguished career? Can you tell me how many chief ministers have done that?
And apologize.
Arnab, I would like to know from Mr. Mehta, that the distinguished journalist and a veteran journalist he is, how many chief ministers in this country have done this? Riots have, much worse riots have taken place. How many chief ministers have done this? Please tell me one example.
What is it?
how many chief ministers have apologized for riots?
Mr. Mehta, I'm asking you.
Has Akhilesh... No, 1 second. Has Akhilesh apologized for Muzaffarnagar?
Dr. Manmohan Singh apologized for the riots in the Golden Temple. Sonia Gandhi has apologized for
No, Sonia Gandhi has not apologized. Sonia Gandhi has not apologized.
Went to the Golden Temple.
No, Sonia Gandhi, Vinod Mehta, I cross swords with you right now on that. Vinod Mehta, Sonia Gandhi has not apologized. Has she apologized, Mahesh Jethmalani? Has she apologized, Pavan Verma?
Sonia Gandhi has not apologized for the Sikh riots. Let me tell you something. There has been no apology for 29 years about the Sikh riots from anybody.
Yes.
Nobody has condemned in the Congress party Rajiv Gandhi's infamous statement that when a big tree falls, the earth shakes. Not one congressman has had the courage to condemn that statement.
Dr. Manmohan Singh went to the Golden Temple. Darbar Sahib, he apologized.
No. We talk about Sonia Gandhi.
Prime Minister of India apologized in the Darbar Sahib.
No, this is for altogether
This is a matter of record.
Mr. Vinod Mehta, your partisan colors are showing. Mr. Manmohan Singh went about 20 years later to the Golden Temple. 20 years later. And B, your partisan colors are showing. Why don't you speak with the same fervor about the riots in Assam that just took place and condemn and ask Mr. Tarun Gogoi to give an apology?
Did Tarun Gogoi apologize for the...
Tarun Gogoi to apologize?
I asked that question. 1 second. Let's ask the Congress. Let's ask the Congress and Pavan Verma 1 minute. Did Tarun Gogoi apologize for the ethnic violence in Assam and take responsibility and say, I will resign? Did Akhilesh take responsibility and say, I'll resign for Muzaffarnagar? Did with respect, Naveen Patnaik say after Kandamal that I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Amee Yagnik, Sonia Gandhi only expressed anguish at the anti-Sikh riots. So Narendra Modi also has expressed anguish. But when Sonia Gandhi expresses anguish, Amee Yagnik, you go out there and start applauding and you say, what a wonderful thing Sonia Gandhi has done. But when Narendra Modi expresses anguish, then both you and Pavan Verma say, not good enough. That's a bit hypocritical, isn't it, Ms. Yagnik and Mr. Yes, Ms. Yagnik.
There is no hypocrisy here. There is no hypocrisy here.
Yeah.
Can I please complete?
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is a unique case.
What
this
unique?
Is a unique case where the chief minister was right there and
really
liability of the chief minister.
And who was chief minister?
Right, and there is no question of apology.
No, and I want to ask you. I want to ask you.
It is just talking about anguish.
I want to ask you.
Talking about his personal grief. There is no question of any apology, and whatever happens in the highest court regarding this matter.
I think Amee Yagnik.
That 2 lakh people were displaced.
No, Amee Yagnik.
Going to remain a blow.
No, Amee Yagnik. Amee Yagnik. You know what? After Operation Blue Star, January of 1998, Pavan Verma will remember. January of 1998, Sonia Gandhi says, जो कुछ 6 जून को हुआ था, उसका मुझे दुख हुआ. In other words, I am anguished by the events of January 6th. On the riots, she said she could understand the pain of the Sikhs as she herself had experienced it, losing her husband Rajiv and mother-in-law Indira Gandhi that way. And then she said, quote, there is no use recalling what we have collectively lost. These are her words. Pavan Verma. There is no use recalling what we have collectively lost. No words can balm that pain. Now, how are you looking for words like regret and remorse? And how, Pavan Verma, therefore, is it that you don't apply the same index to the Congress party? Just because you won the Bihar package from them before the general elections, that you apply to Narendra Modi.
I think you are also, Arnab, you are also being too cynical. Arnab,
Cynical?
let me state it simply. One wrong does not justify another
Arnab,
wrong.
there is
I
a
have never
dialogue,
for
"Tumhara
once
khun khun, hamara
said
khun
that
pani."
what Arnab, 1 second, Arnab. I did not interrupt Mr. Vyas. The fact that the Sikhs riots against the Sikhs took place after Indira Gandhi's death, it scarred the nation. The fact how the Congress behaved then, it's not about saying they were worse than us. We have in front of us an attempt by a person who has a claim to be the Prime Minister of this country in terms of what his party wants him to be. We have to judge whether that blog written today carries credibility
one
or
minute.
not.
So you're saying, Pavan Verma.
I'm not saying for a moment that what the Congress
You
did
are
was
saying,
right.
Pavan
I'm not
Verma.
saying that.
No, Mr. Verma, I'm sorry.
Sir.
What you are saying is, don't ask about Akhilesh, don't ask about Naveen Patnaik, don't even ask about
I'm
Sonia
willing to
Gandhi
discuss
because they are
this
not trying to be
separately with
Prime
you.
Minister, but because Narendra Modi is trying to be Prime Minister, he must apologize, he must express regret, he must express remorse.
Arnab, please understand.
Very right.
Arnab, I am not for a moment holding a candle or a brief for those who could have behaved far better in situations of a similar kind. I am just making the point that today, frankly, I would like to give the benefit of doubt to Mr. Modi, but I think this is an issue of credibility.
No, okay.
The timing and its content, the way it has come, after 12 years of denial, and at a time when action and deed would have mattered more, there was silence. Or there was even aggression.
How many years was the Congress party silent, and how long is the Congress party silent on 1984?
So I am not saying that is right. Please try to
but the same.
I am not saying that
A
is
response.
right. I am saying that if that is wrong,
Welcoming into the debate.
Arnab, there is one more point.
Welcoming into the debate, Teesta Setalvad. It is Vinod Mehta's turn to come in. Vinod Mehta.
They were silent. But when the investigation reports indicted them,
I want to say something, Arnab.
When they were absolutely
Arnab, can I say something?
Vinod,
you come out and
Jaynarayan Vyas.
spoken about this, whatever apology you are
Jaynarayan Vyas, Vinod Mehta, who has faced full frontal attack from your colleague Mahesh Jethmalani, saying his colors are showing, etc., needs to intervene, and I allow Mr. Vinod Mehta the intervention. After that, Teesta Setalvad will face the next question.
Please go ahead.
Vinod Mehta.
Arnab, I just want to ask one simple question.
Yeah.
It is more than likely that Mr. Narendra Modi is going to be the next Prime Minister of India.
Yeah.
He has already moved a step forward by this blog, by at least addressing the question. The issue is that whatever the legal all the legal escapes that Mr. Modi may have, the question is, he was Chief Minister when the riots happened. How much of a leap of faith and how big is the problem of going from this blog to the next one to simply say, listen, I was Chief Minister, I had nothing to do with the riots, I tried to
He's
control
never said
them,
that.
but they still happened on my watch.
Why would you want him to say something?
I apologize to you.
Why would you want, we wouldn't say that.
I wanted to say that.
But he wouldn't say that, Mr. Mehta.
Arnab,
He's never said
I have a question for Mr. Vinod Mehta.
Okay.
Arnab, I
hope he
wanted to
would
just
say.
ask Vinodji that what is
he's
the
going to be
reason
the Prime Minister
for your
of this
special love and
country.
affection for Mr. Modi when
he
nobody in
has
this
to
country has
become-
done this,
everybody's
who is
saying
not
that
guilty, even
become-
when the person was
None of us
guilty,
reach
why you
out
want
to the
Mr. Modi to
Muslims.
apologize? The moment he apologizes, you will have another argument.
Exactly.
That he was guilty and therefore guilty conscience bites and he has apologized.
At least express some regret.
So what is the reason for your special love and affection for Mr. Modi? Why you want to single him out for this special treatment?
Arnab, if you read the blog carefully, the blog unambiguously is an implicit and tacit admission that something went wrong on his watch which he could not control, and he has deep personal anguish and regret for it.
No.
It is
No.
unmistakable,
Watch it.
But if there are doubting
That is not
thoughts,
true.
if
So
apologize
if there
for
are
that.
doubting
That is
thoughts,
I want to get
like
Teesta
Mr.
to
Verma.
respond to you. Teesta,
Oh, he's faulty.
Teesta, you've read the blog? You've read the blog. You've read the blog, right? So the argument being put on the Newshour tonight is that he has gone far further than Akhilesh Yadav did after Muzaffarnagar, than Naveen Patnaik did after Kandhamal, or for that matter Sonia Gandhi, who you don't criticize, Teesta, did regarding the anti-Sikh riots. And the insinuation, fairly direct, is from Mahesh Jethmalani has been, let me complete and then Teesta will respond to Mahesh Jethmalani, has been that it is...
If I have time.
Yeah, no, full
if I've
time.
given the time.
Full time. Since you've just joined, we'll give you full time. The direct
I hope
insinuation is that it's interest groups like yours who want to keep this issue alive, even though you have run out of issues and the courts also, both in the courts and outside, to target Narendra Modi in the riots cases, in the Ishrat case, because you don't want to engage him on other issues. You want to keep this alive somehow. I think you need to respond, and then we'll get Mahesh Jethmalani and the others to come back.
Yeah, but now I've come in late on the debate.
Floor
so
is
I'll request
yours.
some time. Since you began with the fact that we have lost out legally, I would start with that. That I would like to say that yesterday's verdict is a magisterial court verdict, and on 12th of September 2011, when the Supreme Court remanded the Zakia Jafri and CJP matter back to the Magistrates Court, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Jaitley and others came out of the Supreme Court with a victory sign. At that time, they claimed the SIT was a Supreme Court clean chit, despite the fact that Raju Ramachandran had clearly said that there was material to prosecute Modi. So I'd like to state at the outset, since you are connecting the two issues...
But the SIT filed a closure report, the court accepted it.
Let me finish, Arnab. I know what I have to say. Since you are connecting yesterday and today, I want to make it very clear.
No, I'm not. I'm only talking of the blog.
Yes, no, you brought up
connecting.
yesterday. You are saying that Mahesh said that because we've run out of legal arguments. We have not run out of legal arguments. We have lost in the magisterial court. We have a four-tier system of criminal justice in this country. Modi cannot escape it. Jethmalani, who has appeared for smugglers in the past, knows that people go right up to the Supreme Court. So we try to establish a clear case of conspiracy to commit mass murder. We believe we marshaled evidence from the investigation papers. We will appeal. So please don't try and make it out to be... Please don't try and make it out that it's a clean...
But so far your attempts have drawn up... No, watch it. First of all, Miss Setalvad.
The Patia judgment of 29th August 2012 did not attract any attention on your channel.
Miss Setalvad.
Maya Kodnani, no it did not. Maya Kodnani,
Miss Setalvad,
was indicted to 28 years
Miss
for conspiracy.
Setalvad.
And the question they are asking is, did the conspiracy stop there? Coming back to Modi's blog.
One sec, Mr. Vyas, let her complete.
I don't see any remorse in the blog.
Yeah.
Just like Sajjan Kumar and Jagdish Saitler and HKL Bhagat, who is no more, never have expressed remorse for leading the mobs in 1984. So this blog about Modi is about himself.
No, is there a charge of Modi leading riots?
Not about the survivors of the post-Godhra killings.
Right.
You remember the Modi who spoke about Lindo in a communal way?
No, why are you not being
remember
specific?
the Modi who spoke about
Why are
Justice
you
Verma's
digressing?
NHRC remote?
Why are you digressing?
Do you remember the Modi who spoke about Chief Justice Khare?
No,
Khare
what do you
and
want
Kote?
him to do? What do you want him to do?
So today if Modi is doing this, I'm not convinced. You might be.
No, one sec. Now, you see, first of all, I'm just placing on record, Ms. Setalvad. Yeah, I'm coming to you, Mahesh.
Point.
But no, one sec. But Ms. Setalvad, I'm placing on record to
Please.
you and not me, Ms. Setalvad, drew a link between the magisterial court verdict and today. And I suspect you drew a link because
No,
you
you
wanted
did in
to
your
make your
question.
introductory comments talking about the verdict being part of one of the 4 steps of justice which everyone is aware about.
Of course it is.
My question was
said so
only
yesterday
about the
also.
blog, and my question was about why the Sonia Gandhi has not apologized for 1984. But you don't go
Because
to town
she was not
talking
in power
about
at
that.
the time, yeah.
You don't
I
go around.
criticized her for a lack of statement on Vadera. But she was not in power at the time.
No.
Use your
What about
common
Sonia?
sense.
What about
Bhagat,
Sonia Gandhi in
It was
1984?
Narasimha Rao who was in power at the time.
No. What about Sonia Gandhi in 1984? What about Naveen
She was
Patnaik and
not in
Kandamal?
official power. There's a system of law
Naveen
in the
Patnaik and
country.
Kandamal?
I've criticized Sonia
Akhilesh
Gandhi
and
for a
Muzaffarnagar?
failure to distance herself from Robert Vadra.
Akhilesh
So
and
please
Muzaffarnagar?
don't make wild allegations.
Akhilesh and
I've not
Muzaffarnagar?
come on your channel on Muzaffarnagar, but I said Mulayam and Akhilesh are worse than Modi or as bad as Modi. They've taken their lessons from Modi in 2002.
Okay, now Mahesh
Please
Jethmalani.
don't make wild
Mahesh
baseless
Jethmalani.
allegations, Arnab,
Mahesh
without knowing the facts.
Mahesh is responding. Ms. Setalvad,
The only person who makes wild allegations both in court and outside is Teesta Setalvad. And Teesta Setalvad, before casting stones and calling people smugglers' lawyers, yes, I am. I believe I have defended smugglers, rarely in the past. And I believe everybody, including the terrorists whom you associate with, are entitled to due process. But Teesta Setalvad, let me tell you about your own role. Your own associate, Rais Khan, has filed an affidavit pending in the Supreme Court accusing you of fabricating witness statements, misappropriating money
Is that relevant?
meant for the victim of the riots for other purposes. You
So let's have a debate on that. I have no problem. I have no problem. But Mahesh
Yes,
Jethmalani,
let's debate that.
you and your father
Let's debate.
appeared for my organization, and against all legal ethics, you switched to the other side. If you look at Mahesh Jethmalani and
I
Ram
have never
Jethmalani's
appeared
scheme
for your
to do with
organization.
2002,
I beg your pardon.
look at Ram
I wouldn't
Jethmalani,
touch your
father.
I would
He
not touch
appeared
your
for Citizens and
organization
Justice and
with a
Peace.
barge pole.
He
There you
advised
go
Zaira
lying
Sheikh,
again.
and
There
then
you go
he
lying
switched to the
again.
other side. So if you can
You are an unbridled liar, Teesta.
your lack of legal
You can
ethics
say anything.
dogs you in the Manu
I will
Sharma
not
case,
touch
in the
citizens for
Jessica
peace with a
Lai
barge
case,
pole.
and everybody knows the ethics that the Jethmalani stand for.
Are we discussing each other?
I did not
I'm asking
appear.
you, Arnab.
Are we discussing each
I did
other?
not appear for Jessica Lai.
Are we discussing each other? One second.
Arnab, let's come back to the issue.
Yeah, one second.
Can I say
Vinod Mehta. No. Are we
would like to
discussing?
say a word
You
on
see,
the
1
blog.
second. 1 minute. 1 minute. Now you see.
Setalvad has a case in the Supreme Court for exhuming dead bodies.
You know
Ram
something.
Jethmalani
Illegally.
appeared for the Jessica
Now
Lai
this is-
witnesses
you- yeah,
before
so-
appearing for Manu Sharma. A case of violation of basic legal
but Ram
ethics,
Jethmalani
which is what has dogged his career. Ram
Can you
Jethmalani.
keep your
If you
personal-
find out how
Can
much
you-
money
can you-
senior lawyers have made
Can
from
you
the
keep
Gujarat
your-
government.
Can you keep your personal disputes aside, please? Can you keep your personal dispute aside? Mahesh Jethmalani, you call her a liar. She says you appear for smugglers. So you know what? After this program is over, pick up the phone, call each other and sort it out. We are discussing Narendra Modi's blog.
Quite right.
Right, Mr. You
Can I come in?
Mukul Sinha, come in. Mukul Sinha.
Obviously upset today.
Let's come to the blog.
Today because
Mukul Sinha.
I would like to say a few things on the blog. Why doesn't Jethmalani please allow others to talk?
Mr. Sinha.
Would Jethmalani allow somebody else to speak? Two points I would like to make, Arnab, here. One is this question of apology has gone too far. I don't see why an apology should be sort of a getaway for any leader who was directly involved in the administration of a state when the riots actually took place. Irrespective of whether they apologize or not, the question would be that whether they are guilty in accordance with law or not. So I don't believe the question of apology should be pitched so high that anybody can get away with an apology after presiding over a mass murder. That is one. Number two, on the blog, let me tell you, this blog talks about 12 long years. Now, out of these 12 long years, 2 elections have passed. One is the 2002 election, the other is the 2007 election, and the third is the 2012 election. In the 2007 election, this same Modi, I did not see any remorse or regret. On the contrary, he held a Gaurav Yatra. He held a Gaurav, let's remember this. He held a Gaurav Yatra where he went and said that he wanted to close down all the relief camps because he did not want the relief camps to become the manufacturing factory of the children. And then he said that हमारा 5 और हम 5 और हमारा 25. Now all these sentences and statements have been made during this very period in which he is now showing his remorse.
One sec, Jaynarayan Vyas is responding.
Exercise of hypocrisy.
Jaynarayan Vyas, the question is this. Mukul Sinha, 1 minute.
Only 2 points, and I'm sure Mukul will bear me out for that. Arnab, I have only 2 points, and they are absolutely general in nature, nothing personal. Number one, Mr. Mukul Sinha and Teesta Setalvad and company, how they specialized in spreading wrong information. Amicus Curiae. What is the role of Amicus Curiae? Amicus Curiae is only a help to the court. And Amicus Curiae, what he has observed, Raju Ramchandran has not given any adverse remarks. On the contrary, on every point the SIT has made, he has said yes, in agreement. On only one passing remark on Mr. Bhatt's representation, he has made first part very clear observation that Mr. Bhatt's conduct is not above doubt, and he seems to be sort of in collaboration with those who are making these allegations. However, if there is any substance, it may be looked into. Now this looked into is being blown up as if Raju
No, Mr. Vyas, don't make it technical, Mr. Vyas. Mr. Vyas, 1 minute. Mr. Vyas, a question asked. Mr. Vyas, 1 minute. By the way, you know what, Mr. Vyas, I am not interested in a hyper-technical discussion on amicus curiae, role provisions, court cases, lower court, higher court. Don't confuse anyone. We won't get confused. The question is, a sharp political question is asked. And the sharp political question is this. Vinod Mehta, I'm coming to you. The sharp question is...
I was just pointing out...
Sir, let me...
Let Mr. Vyas point out in these 7 long years.
And I have every right to say that.
Now, this
is not a hypothetical technical discussion.
No, Mr. Vyas...
Mr. Setalvad cannot get away telling wrong things.
Mr. Vyas, 1 minute, please.
In spreading misinformation.
Mr. Vyas...
absolutely a misinformation, like the misinformation that they created. That somebody's...
I am asking a political question, Jaynarayan Vyas.
Lady comes back to the country.
Jaynarayan Vyas, you and Mahesh Jethmalani, Mahesh Jethmalani, Mukul Sinha and Teesta Setalvad can keep going. You're all lawyers. Go see, you can sit and have a separate private discussion on the legal process. Political question.
Teesta Setalvad is not a lawyer. Please don't put her in that category. Teesta Setalvad is not a lawyer.
That's okay.
In 2007, why did he hold the Gaurav Yatra and humiliate the victim?
Now you see Mahesh
Mr. Jethmalani is accused of misleading his clients.
1 second.
And duping them.
Now you stop provoking each other, okay?
I'm not accused by anybody. You're sorry.
There it goes again.
Your father, under whose shadow your career has grown, is responsible for the most unethical legal practices.
Take your time now.
Okay, can I...
Manu Sharma, Jessica
Pavan Verma.
What is this discussion about?
Pavan Verma, Pavan Verma.
I take that coming as a compliment from you.
Now Mahesh Jethmalani and Teesta Setalvad.
Why are you...
Don't get agitated then.
Okay, 1 sec. I accuse you both. Mahesh Jethmalani and Teesta Setalvad, I accuse you both at my own peril of deliberately digressing from the subject of the debate. And the debate is this. The question is, why has it taken Narendra Modi this long to express his views on the riots? He's the Chief Minister of a state, 11 years to express his views in detail on the subject. If you have inner turmoil, if you have shock...
Can I say one sentence?
No, a pending investigation does not...
No,
pending investigation does not stop someone from expressing his honest views on the subject. Am I correct, Mr. Verma?
Arnab, very simply, whether it's an apology or an expression of anguish, the question before is whether it sounds genuine. I submit to you, and it could be considered a partisan point of view, but I say it from common sense that we have watched a conduct for 12 years. We've seen a stony silence for 12 years. We've seen provocative statements which are aggressive in terms of their dealing with the victims for the last 12 years. We've had the Hum Paanch 25 Hamare 25 speech. 6 months ago, an analogy was made with a puppy dog who may die and cause grief.
Kutte ke bacche.
We've seen these instances. We've seen the victims in riot camps in camps in Ahmedabad in very poor condition, which Mr. Modi has never visited. Now, overnight, there is a transformation just before the election to project a completely new image. I want to say we want to believe him, but we'll have to insult our intelligence to do so.
No, you see, I have a problem at this stage. I believe. 1 minute, Mr. Jethmalani, 1 minute. Mr. Jethmalani, 1 minute. I know you want to merrily attack Teesta once again, but 1 second, just a minute. You see, I am convinced. I am convinced. No, 1 second. I am convinced now, Mr. Mehta, that Mr. Modi will say that all Mr. Mehta, Mr. Pavan Verma, Teesta Setalvad, Mukul Sinha, they are all so much part of the anti-Modi brigade that even if I say sorry tomorrow, then they'll say, see, we said you were guilty.
We don't want him to say sorry.
No. If you express remorse, they'll say, you know what?
Arnab,
the courts may have freed you, but you are now declared guilty.
You are right.
Unlike
Arnab, it's not a
Vinod
question
Mehta.
of that. If you say sorry, it's a good thing, but it must sound genuine.
Vinod Mehta.
Even if he says a sorry, Arnab, he is not going to go.
Can I speak?
Vinod Mehta, go ahead.
Can I speak? Arnab, can I speak?
Yes, sir.
Arnab, can I speak?
Yes, sir.
Arnab, I appeal to Mr. Narendra Modi, and unlike your people that you have mentioned, I am saying he is likely to be the next Prime Minister of India.
You said that again.
And I am saying because he is the next Prime Minister of India, he must carry the whole country with him. And I appeal to him in the name of his Prime Ministership that he should make up and express some sort of sentiment to the Muslims so that we have one country.
Mr. Mehta.
Otherwise, Mr. Narendra Modi will be Prime Minister of a divided country.
Mr. Mehta, you know what I'll do? You know what I'm going to do? One sec. Gentlemen, I see 3 hands go up. So what I'm doing, 3 hands go up. I have to take a break before 10. I am taking the break now. When I come out, I have that one question. That if Modi says sorry, will Teesta Setalvad not be the first person to go and say, see there, Mr. Modi, the courts freed you, but in the court of public opinion, you are now declared guilty forever. I'm going to ask Teesta Setalvad to answer that on the other side of a short break. In 2004, Narendra Modi, talking about, when he's always been criticized on the Gujarat riots, has spoken about in the past in 2004 about introspection being a private matter. Yet he has gone public with his views now in this blog, even though it may be seen as an incomplete introspection on his own government's role. I have 5 more minutes on this debate. I'm extending it. My question to Teesta Setalvad is, suppose he were to introspect himself on his government's role and say that if there is a public feeling that there may have been something which went wrong, then I sincerely apologize to any people who may feel that way. In the given political context, it would neutralize all the successes he has had on the legal front. Now, as someone who has fought cases in court, you would want a final decision from the courts? Or are you trying to simply trap him in the courts of public opinion because you know that in the real courts you would be losing against him?
Arnab, it's a very important question you asked, so give me a minute. You remember Gladys Staines, the widow of Graham Staines, after this fellow Dara Singh had burnt Graham Staines and his 2 sons alive in a gruesome act in January 1999. She said, I forgive my killers. Okay. Now, something like forgiveness and remorse is a very personal thing. And I mean this very seriously. I am nobody to decide on anybody's behalf how they take Mr. Modi's blog or how they take any purported sign of remorse or forgiveness, repentance, if he were to ever make it. I'm not a dalal for anybody. All I was trying to point out to you, which you did not let me finish, was that today's blog is all about Narendra Modi. It is not about the survivors of the violence. And for me, because you're asking me, you're not asking 100 other people, it goes against what he has been saying in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2007. What he said about James Lindo, Chief
No,
Election
you see,
Commissioner
this is
Constitutional Authority, he should not have made a comment in the remark.
This is the point
what
where
he said about Hum Paanch Pachis. So I feel I'm not convinced. Whether others are convinced or not, it's a free country, and they
I will get
decide.
one response from the other side. Now, either Jaynarayan Vyas can do it or Mahesh Jethmalani can do it. We take one response from the other side. Who goes first? Mr. Jethmalani, you want to, because you wanted to square off in part number one on some other issue with Ms. Teesta Setalvad. Mr. Jethmalani, go ahead.
No, I have
go ahead.
No issues. I have no issues with the I have no issues with the foul-mouthed Teesta Setalvad who purveys lies all the time. Let Jaynarayan go.
You do that all the time, Mr. Jethmalani. Just that today you're on the receiving end.
Mr. Vyas, go ahead. Mr. Vyas, go ahead.
I'll say it
take
like
that with
this,
a pinch of salt. I don't even want to deal with you.
Teesta and her friends
You trade on other
have a
people's
set
decency.
agenda. Even whatever the courts may come out the verdict with, they have charted the course that till the Supreme Court deals with this case finally and gives the same verdict, they will continue to haunt Mr. Modi with these same questions in which they specialize. So they have a set agenda, and it is their constituency they have made. So I can always only sympathize with Teesta that unfortunately at the very first stage they have met with the reversal. I don't think whatever she is saying, quite a few of the lies I have already brought to the surface. Number one, she said about amicus curiae statement is absolutely wrong. Number two, these people made some girl to, first they said she was raped. Girl comes back from abroad and says, no, there is no substance in it. The Rais Khan's statement, I don't want to repeat, Mahesh has raised this adequately. So they specialize in
Pavan Verma has the last word. Pavan Verma, Mr. Vyas, Pavan Verma.
Arnab, I just want to say
have
that
the,
India
Arnab,
is
can I have the
greater
last
than
word?
short-term political tactics of leaders, whatever party they may belong to. If Mr. Modi has felt today anguish at what happened, if tomorrow he feels sorry for what happened, I would have been much happier if we had done it spontaneously, immediately after the event, during these 12 years of silence, rather than now on the eve of the elections, when there appears to be a transparent expediency to that.
When Sonia Gandhi expresses anguish, then neither you nor Vinod Mehta ask about whether it was spontaneous.
And please have your next discussion on that. I don't condone it.
Yes, Mr.
I
Mehta.
say India is greater. The concept of India is
Mr.
greater
Mehta.
than cynical short-term political gain.
Mr. Mehta, yes.
Arnab,
can I say
last
something
word, please?
at the end?
Can I have the last word?
Yes.
Can I have the last word? Can I say something, Arnab?
Sir.
You have asked a very good question, that his critics are so die-hard that even if he says sorry, it will not matter. My point to you remains that if he did say sorry, he would take the ground beneath the feet of all his critics.
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine the kind of debate you would have if Mr. Modi had said sorry?
So why would he not do that?
The so-called critics of Mr. Modi would have
So
nowhere to
obviously
go.
there must be some people.
This is only wishful thinking.
There must be some people who are advising him against doing so, thinking he's going to upset some other lobby. Okay, Mr. Jethmalani finally speaks. 10 seconds, brief rebut.
The only person worth responding to as a critic of Modi is Mr. Pavan Verma. The others have a personal agenda. Let me tell Mr. Pavan Verma that had he done it before, he would have been attacked exactly as you said, for actually being an admission of guilt in the riots. So Mr. Modi has done the right thing. He has waited patiently till he's got a clean chit. Don't forget this case started in 2006 when Mrs. Zakia first filed a complaint. He has been completely
Wrapping up now
by a Supreme Court appointed SIT. Now the imprimatur. And secondly, Mr. Pavan Verma, if he does what he has done 12 years later at least it's better late than never.
To all my panelists on debate number 1, thank you very much for joining.
Clean fit in 2011.
Thank you for joining me on debate number 1 on the News Hour tonight.